listening to the Cozy Chaos Zone. I am your host, House of Dub. Stay cozy and embrace chaos.
Hello, and welcome to the Cozy Chaos Zone. I am your host, House of Dub. In regards to all things cozy, I recently celebrated my 32nd birthday, and it was a really good time. In regards to all things chaos, I got myself a new green screen. It's blue. I decided to wear a blue tank top. Now my chest is see-through. That's pretty interesting, right? Today, we are going to highlight a song and shine a spotlight on an artist. That song is Heartbreak Hotel. That artist is Taylor John Crawford. I'm really excited because Taylor John Crawford is actually here with us today to talk about the song Heartbreak Hotel. Let's get into it. Taylor John Crawford, welcome to the Cozy Chaos Zone. It is a pleasure to have you here.
You know what? It's a pleasure to be here. My friend Dub. Thank you for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
So your song Heartbreak Hotel. I just have to go in with my very first question. Had you ever heard? I think there's another song out there with the same title.
Elvis.
Some other. Oh yeah, okay, that was the guy's name. Yeah, I was trying to remember. What like? Was that something that you were thinking about when you decided to put this song? Not even like what?
Dude, not at all. Basically,
just go. Yeah. I want to know.
So I was in Germany. For a couple of weeks. My friend that I went to school with, he's from there. So he invited me back. We went to like his hometown, and there's this little city called Bremen, and that's like North Germany next to Hamburg. And there is a bar, and it's called Heartbreak Hotel. And do you want me to dive into the full story now of the song, or like?
Yeah. Let's go right into it.
Okay. So, all right. So I went there. I used to be in a band. It was called a band called Sad, and we were like playing our music there and everything. And so we had our guitars with us. We were playing on the streets all the time, trying to book shows like in Germany and stuff. It was just us two. And when we were busking, we would there was this one festival that was going on over the weekend, and there was this group of individuals that were just sitting there watching us and everything. And we started chatting it up with them, shooting the shit and whatnot. And then we just ended up hanging out, like going to all these bars and stuff. And out of the group, there was a lady that I found myself, just infatuated with and very intrigued by. And she ended up having a boyfriend, so like nothing happened out of that. And then a few weeks went by, we didn't hear from them, and finally they're like, "Oh, sorry, we were on holiday." We're like, "Oh, we're having the show tonight, come through." And I come to the show, it's at this bar, or it's at this pub that we were both working at, and then they're like, "Oh, do you want to go to like a karaoke thing that night?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course." So let's go to there. And then it ends up being at this place, Heartbreak Hotel. A few things happen. Everyone gets absolutely obliterated in the most purely drunk sense we could possibly be. Me and that lady end up flirting with each other, and one thing leads to another, and we like spend the night together. She still has a partner at the time, and like total, yeah. So, not the cleanest story. So it took me, that was back in like 2018. And so it took me a really long time to figure out like how this, or what this song actually means. And it's kind of about like just the shame and guilt and pain you put someone through when you do that. And not even just the individual that you interacted with, but the other one that you had zero interaction with. Because they are just suffering from a ricochet effect of something that I did, and I'm not, I am very uncomfortable talking about it because it's just something, it was wrong, and it was uncool and unfair to do to these people. But I guess like there's nothing wrong with talking about how you feel, and so that's, I guess, where the song came from. Originally, it was about like how I thought I missed this person, and though sometimes I do, I think it's more so about the utter ruin that you cause to someone's life through doing something like this.
It's really, really interesting because the story starts off and it like, you would describe it as something as you could just say it as simple as like, it's a really rock and roll story,
Sure.
but it's rock and roll with consequences, you know?
Mm.
It's having to process that like, yeah, we're an American band and we just destroyed our hotel room, but now, we have to pay for it and we have to auction off our guitars or something because we can't really afford it. It was a lot of damage. You know what I mean? You never hear that side of the story. So
Literally.
it's really interesting that you're taking kind of this nuanced take on what would be your traditional like American band comes into a foreign town and parties down and wrecks relationships and all this stuff. But you're kind of taking it into a little bit of a deeper note and saying like, what happens after the rock and roll is stop rocking and rolling, and it's just like, what when the dust settles, what are the consequences? What are you left with?
Yeah, and that's really funny. I haven't even thought about that. It's like all the, like you said, like American rock band going touring. Like you think of got. Well, I mean, I don't know if Led Zeppelin counts, but I mean, I'm just gonna use them as an example. But like, or even like the Chili Peppers or something, and like you think about them going around and like kind of just doing whatever the fuck they wanted. And that was the mindset at the time, right? And that's the mentality. But consequences do exist, and people get hurt, man. And that's something that's never brought up. It's always about like, this is the party, here's what happened, here's the fun I had, and everything else is just deserted.
Exactly. So to focus more in on the song. So you're saying the story that it all started from happened in like 2018. When did you start like really writing it? When did you start really producing it? And also, is the song out right now? Is it
Oh, it's out,
released?
it's out, it's
Okay,
done.
got you.
Yep, it came
And
out
it's on
on Friday.
cool, cool. So it came out this Friday. Last Friday, right?
I got, yeah, a couple days ago, the
Oh,
Friday that
okay.
just happened.
And
Yeah.
is it like a wide release? Is it just a single or like part of a EP or something or?
Yeah, so I was planning toying with the idea of doing like a full album or an EP, but then I just came to the to the conclusion that there's not really a sense to do that for myself right now personally, because I don't have the largest following. So I think I'm just gonna keep doing single after single. I'm basically gonna release a new single about every 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, for like the next 2 years, and just keep doing that until something catches on, and try and be as consistent as possible rather than put all my eggs in one album of a basket and pray for like Hail Mary that thing. So, um, sorry, what was your question before that?
The question was, so I want to kind of get an idea into like your process
Oh
songwriting
yeah.
wise. So like the story happens in 2018. When did you start sitting down and seriously writing it and putting together? And when did it come? Like when did you get to the point where it's like, all right, now it's ready for release? Like, can you kind of walk me through that timeline from 2018 to now?
Yeah. So like I said, I was in this band for a bit, and it's actually already out on Spotify and everything. Like there's another version of it, and that version is called Thanks for the Invite. It's still my song. So like I'm the one who wrote it, and the band like played on it. So um there was a massive falling out. That was in, I think that was 2021. So the song I started to write it like when I returned from Germany that summer, so like 2018 into 2019, it was being written, and then it just took a while for it to come to life, I guess. There was one version made that was a little bit more like electro pop. That was the first thing I did, and this was one a couple years ago when I still really had no idea what I was doing when I was producing. I'm just kind of throwing shit at the wall, hoping that it stuck. Um, and then the band starts to work with a new mixer, and we just start to really understand production more as a whole. So 2020 comes around and we finally get to recording it. um, I wasn't even going to sing on it at one point. Like we had two other people in the band that were probably going to sing on it, but then it just came down to it's my song, so I feel like it has to be that way. And then the way the song came out, it was just like, I know it still feels like a rock song right now, but there's so many elements in it that to me, and this is what I try to put into all my music, that makes it very playful and innocent, and like there's a child in the room who's writing it. Um, but the other one just felt so like God, I don't know. It just didn't feel like it grasped what the song was supposed to feel like. And I guess that's the most important part when you're making music is you want it to have a certain emotional quality. So the band fell off in 2021. 2020. Holy shit! Sorry, I'm just thinking about all these years. Oh my god. Song came out like a year later. The band fell apart. I started to do my own thing and started to release my own music, and then I was like, I felt weird about releasing this one again because it's already out there. But there's no copyright issues or anything because I'm the writer and all that, and I made a completely new produced version of it and whatnot, and the song's entirely mine. So I said, why the hell not? And I wanted to do it my way, and that was kind of it. I changed some of the lyrics because they felt more pertinent to the story at this point. But yeah, other than that, like it went through a bunch of variations of its existence, and then it just kind of evolved into what it was, to what it is now. Yeah.
So this is actually a really unique situation. You're dealing with a song that you've already released, that you already had recorded, you already had a version of it, and then you just redid the entire thing. So walk me through this, producing wise, going from I'm with a band and we're all working together to create something to I'm on my own now and I have to achieve the sound in my head.
Yeah.
What was the differences there, and did you find that one was easier than the other? Were there like pros and cons to working with both?
So I personally much prefer working with myself. Or in comparison to this particular group, I much prefer not to work with them.
Okay, fair.
There's just too many what's the word? Not enough division of labor. I'll say that.
Okay.
That's the furthest I'll go with it. And when I started to work with myself more, and when I started to make my own music, there wasn't any judgment or any like one person saying, "Oh, this isn't right. This isn't good. This isn't what we're trying to do." It was just fun. It was just fun, and I was just trying to surprise and impress myself and nobody else. Um, and if I could get away with that, then I'm happy to release it again, and I'm happy to release my own music, because I think the first person you have to get to like the song is yourself before you show it to anybody else. So yeah, I just got into this ocean of producing and just having fun, man, like, and playing with all the different VSTs and different instruments that exist in the world. Like, I don't know, I didn't have that opportunity to explore that in the way I do now when I was with the band, so I feel super grateful to be able to have the time and space to be doing that for myself now.
I want to just get a little bit deeper into it.
Sure.
I like knowing a little bit more about like the DAW and stuff. Like
Yeah.
what are you using to produce? Also, if you could just give me like an idea of like where you started with music, composing it, producing it. Like
Mhm.
I know you're a singer. Your voice is awesome. Hearing it on the track, it was like that blew me away. So I'd be really interested to know like where the rest of your musical prowesses lie. Where what other things, like what did you start with?
Yeah. So I originally was playing like trombone and bassoon for like 6 years.
Bassoon is sick. Okay, cool.
Bassoon is awesome.
Hmm.
But when I got to high school, I didn't know. This is so stupid. I didn't know if there were like papers I had to sign or anything, like to keep playing these instruments, like, or who I had to talk to. I was like, how do I play in the band for high school now? Like, move from middle school to high school. I had no idea, and I just didn't tell anybody or talk to anybody. I was like, oh, I guess I'm just done now. So
You were waiting for them to come with a contract offer.
yeah, no, there's nothing. There's like, no one approached me,
Have
no
your people
emails.
call my people, and we'll set up a
Exactly.
meeting.
Yeah, my secretary never picked up. So like, I just stopped playing those instruments, and it sucks because like I loved them. I really loved playing them, but I really had no idea like how to play in the band. So I was like, all right, I guess I'm done. But then I started to pick up guitar and whatnot, and my brother was getting guitar lessons at the time, and he's a bit older than me, and I just don't think my mom wanted to pay for like another set of guitar lessons, so I just got like this really crappy acoustic guitar that was lying around the house, and I would go into the home. Remember when we all had like the one home computer, and I would load up ultimate-guitar.com, and the very first song I learned on guitar was "Welcome Home" by Coheed and Cambria, and it's very hard. And I don't know why that was the first thing I learned, but I was just obsessed with it. It's like prog rock and everything, which is not what I even play or listen to. But then, and then I just got obsessed with Shameless, Shameless Guilty Pleasure of John Mayer for years, and I learned all of his stuff. And that's basically what I did throughout all of high school. I just like learned all of his music, and I didn't understand what music was. And then I got to college my freshman year, and my roommate could play guitar, and he played the pentatonic scale, and I said, "What's that? What magic is that? what what did you do?" Because I had no idea how to solo. I could play like chords and like I could do certain techniques, but I didn't know I was doing them just because of the songs I learned. So I had no idea what I was doing. And then he showed me that, and it just like exploded, like total light bulb moment of like, oh my god, there's so much more to music than just like playing someone else's songs. And that's when I use Logic, and I've been using Logic for about a decade. Throughout all this time, I was just using it, didn't really know how to use it until a couple years back. So I just started to record as much as I could. I started writing as much as I could. When I went home during the summers for school, I would just be working, and I would go home and I'd play guitar and record for hours, like hours. That's all I would do. I just became obsessed with it. And then I joined the band, and so I learned a lot through them and everything. And although like I'm not, it wasn't the most positive experience, I wouldn't take it back for anything, because that's how I learned a lot of the things I know now. And then I just started to do things on my own. I was like, fuck it, like, yeah, I can do this shit. So I started learning piano, I started learning bass, and I started learning just like how to mix and master. I ended up getting my master's degree from Berkeley in music production this past in 2022. So I was able to do that. I'm really proud of myself for doing that. Yeah, and like I remember there was a point where this guy was just telling me like, you can't mix, you can't do this. There's a reason you're not doing this. You can't do it. And then I got into the program, and now I'm doing it for myself and other people. And I'm just like, man, literally fuck what everybody says. Don't listen to anyone. If it's something you want to do, then you can do it just because you desire to do it. That's it. That's like the beauty of being human, is that you are this God, this I'm trying to find the perfect word for it. You're like this acorn that is ready to evolve into and grow into a tree that has branches that just stem into every single facet of life. It doesn't matter what it is. You can learn anything. Like, you can literally learn anything. You can become a fucking rocket scientist if you want to today. And that's awesome. Anyway, not to go on too much of a tangent, but yeah. So everything I do myself, everything you hear is myself. Not everything was played by myself on that track. Produced, mixed it, recorded it. All actually, I don't know if I can turn the camera on this thing. I'll just turn my entire camera. That's my room. That's where everything is done. And that's literally it. So,
Nice.
Yeah.
I dig it. What an epic journey. You got stories. You got stories, and it's a very interesting journey, like how you got to where you are. And I love the idea of like, you didn't really unlock the full potential of like music creating, but you had this like catalog of John Mayer songs
Oh yeah.
in your head. So it's really fun to like have that to sort of slap new ideas off of, like finally being able to solo over the John Mayer songs,
Mm-hmm.
Well, as we're kind of wrapping this thing up, you obviously have a lot of things going on. You're putting out singles. I'm assuming you probably have a big discography of songs you're looking to get out there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get these plugs going. Where
Sure.
are you? Where can people find you? Where do they get the most up-to-date news? Like, give me all the social links and all the stuff. Like, what are the plugs here? What do you got?
Absolutely, absolutely. Let's plug in. So Instagram is definitely the best place to be for me. I'm very on there. It's at Taylor John Crawford. Just my full name, Taylor John Crawford, John in the middle. Spotify is just my name, Taylor Crawford. You can find me there. It's all the same name. It's very easy to look me up. And then you can go to my website as well, which is just taylorcrawford.fun. And then through there, you can also find all my social links. They're all linked there. It's just one page. Everything is there. And you can sign up for my newsletter there where I send out a new email like every week or 2 weeks. And I just update you on what's going on. But if you want the goofy silliness, definitely go to Instagram where you can see all my stupid and ridiculous stories where it's just me literally poorly dancing. So hopefully you get a kick out of that.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. You're the first one to be on the Cozy Chaos Zone with a newsletter. Congratulations.
Really? Awesome.
Yep.
Do it.
First
It's so worth
newsletter.
it.
First newsletter. Everyone
So
sign
worth
up for
it.
the newsletter. Do it.
Sign up for the newsletter.
Awesome. Well, Taylor John Crawford, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to be on the Cozy Chaos Zone. Thank you so much for submitting your song Heartbreak Hotel to the Cozy Chaos Zone. And I hope you have an awesome day.
Dub, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And thank you for listening and wanting to have me on here, man.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep. Take care, man.